Hey guys, Ijaz1 back with another video, and Bitcoin is up almost another 6% or so in the last 24 hours, and I'm going to share with you what was the catalyst behind that. So it's showing some good strength and things are looking good in the crypto market. So first, let's take a quick look at coin market cap, and you can see Bitcoin is just hovering under the $58,000 mark, which is going to be a big point for us to break from. We'll come onto the charts very shortly. But now we can start to see a bit of green shoots in some of the altcoins. Ethereum is now outpacing Bitcoin at 7% over the last 24 hours. You got Binance Coin, which pumped up quite a bit and is now cooling down. It's still up more than Bitcoin over the last 7 days. Now we can see Cardano up 3%. We've got XRP up 4%. Solana's up 4%. Polkadot, we know why that moved. Please go check out my video on the Polkadot technical analysis, and the fundamental analysis video will be coming later on. Dogecoin is up 6%. Terra had a massive pump, up almost 9%. Uniswap 4.5%. Chainlink up 12%. Again, covered in the dot video. Do go check that out. So now what we can see is we can see that the alts are starting to move. A couple of days ago when Bitcoin was having its massive pump, the altcoins weren't moving, right? They were flat, if not slightly red. Now Bitcoin's moving 5%, and some of the alts have now got license to go a little bit faster. Still not in alt season mode, but they're starting to move a little faster. So let's take a look at the charts and see what is going on. So as always, let's start off with a nice zoomed out view of Bitcoin on the daily chart, and you can see we got a massive bounce off the $30,000 mark. We've been following this upward trend line within this massive purple wedge, and we got the breakout of this wedge, and it's a clean breakout. We're very well out of this wedge and we're heading higher. Now let's start zooming in. Let's start off with the 4-hourly chart. And we can see if we get closer to where we're at, we formed this continuation pattern and we broke to the upside and then cooled off back down. Found some support now at the bottom of this wedge and it started to build up higher. So let's switch over to the hourly and we'll be able to see where we're at. There we go. So we broke out of the wedge, kind of came across. We were nowhere near our price target from the wedge, which would have taken us straight through $60,000. Went sideways, came back down, built some support here at 54, and now we're heading higher. And a lot of this move is to do with inflation. So we got the CPI reading yesterday from the Fed, and we know now that inflation is more persistent than we were led to believe, right? So the Fed officials were coming out for many months saying this is transitory, this is transitory, this is transitory. Once the base effects are finished, inflation will come down. But we can see that that's not the case. And again, go check out my videos. I know a lot of you guys who invested in crypto aren't too interested in those videos, but it really will help you become better at your crypto investing if you can follow some of the macroeconomic trends. So go check out some of those CPI videos, check out some of the videos around the macroeconomy, because it will help inform your decisions. And that's why we got this pump, and it was predictable, and you could have traded this very easily. And we're showing some strength now. Now the next level is to break through this 58,000 mark. Okay, we really got to get through 58,000 and head towards 60,000 very quickly whilst we have the momentum. Now, you can see volumes still aren't very strong. They're not what they were initially. So we need some of that volume to come back in. It's good that the RSI has cooled off a little bit, and then we can head a bit higher with some momentum. Let's take a look at the EMA ribbon. And you can see we've just, look at that, perfectly bounced off the EMA ribbon here on the hourly, okay? So nice bounce off, and that should give us some extension higher over today, and we should have a good day on Bitcoin today, heading higher, given the inflation readings as well. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. So you can see that the Bitcoin dominance on, let's go back to the daily chart. Let's get out of here and let's take off our ribbon, and we can see that we were forming this really big W shape, right? A double bottom, which I've been calling out for a while as a potential on the dominance. And if we do break this neckline on the dominance at 49, this could really lead to some massive strength in Bitcoin, which could suggest to us that the move in Bitcoin has only just started. Now, you also got to look at the total too, because the dominance doesn't necessarily tell you that the alts are getting weaker. And you can see here, alts have been moving fairly sideways. Had a good move up from the 20th of July up to beginning of September, and since September the total market cap of all the alts excluding Bitcoin, as in all the alts, so excluding Bitcoin, is very sideways. Okay, it's been moving sideways and it's been sat here now at 1.3 trillion. So that's very interesting. So the alts have been holding strength. It's just loads of money isn't flowing into altcoins right now. People are putting it into Bitcoin ready for the pump. And I've made my view clear on that. I'm not trying to time it. I'm sitting in Bitcoin and my alts and trying to build my position in both. That's very important. Okay, guys. So we can see that's what's going on. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum as well. And we can see Ethereum's got a nice bounce as well. Okay, similar pattern to Bitcoin. Picked up its level at 2,900 and is now heading higher. You've had a massive move on Ethereum. I mean, just think about it, guys. 30th September, you're buying Ethereum at 2,800, right? 29th September. The move on that, if you just buy on the dips, very basic strategies, but buying on the dips, you're up 33%. We just overcomplicate this thing. When you see it dip, if you have high conviction, you buy, okay? And now we can see this. I mean, you can even claim that that's a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. We'll keep an eye on that. But Bitcoin is heading up higher now, okay? So you can see shoulder, head, another shoulder, and now you're getting that breakout. And then target for Ethereum will be to break this level at, call it 3,968. Okay, so it's really got to climb and break through this level before heading back to the 4,186 level, which is a bigger resistance level for Ethereum. So very bullish sign for Ethereum. A lot of room on the RSI, a lot more volume can come in. So you've got room here for Ethereum to really go on a move. And I've been saying this all along. When Bitcoin has its move, Bitcoin has its move. And then when it cools off, people start looking at Ethereum, looking at coins where they can get their move. And that's why Luna's up 7% today. I mean, let's take a look at Luna. You've got Luna up 7%. You've got Coty moving 4%. Go check out my video on Coty. So, I mean, look at that on Luna. That's a really big move on Luna, a nice trend upwards, and now this needs to really go and test $45 to break high on Luna. Solana's moving 3-4% today, so Solana's kind of forming a bit of a flag pattern, you can argue here, and this would need a continuation move on Solana. So good green candle on Solana today. Phantom up 7%. You know we cover Phantom a lot on this channel. A nice big strong green candle on Phantom, which is giving you the idea that, let's switch over to the 4 hourly, that this could be a nice little continuation pattern for Phantom, right? So we could argue that because you initially had your first continuation pattern, broke out of that, looked like we were heading higher to our price target, and then the whole market came down, which brought that down. But now it's trying to get the momentum back up to head to its $3 price target on Phantom. We know why Link is moving. We know why Polkadot is moving. Again, check out my separate videos on that. I go into Polkadot and Link in great detail, and you cannot miss out on these two great coins. You've even got Dogecoin moving a little bit. What else do we have moving here that worth speaking about? XRP up a little bit, Theta up, another one which hasn't moved, Theta, guys. Theta will have its move, and when it does, it will move. It's been around for a long time. It's a solid project. And again, we covered Coty in the previous video as well. You're getting Coty creating a nice double bottom pattern here on the hourly, which it could be breaking out from imminently. So we want to keep an eye out on that, this W pattern here for Coty. If it could break that neckline, we could really get an explosive move up to $55 here on Coty. Also Algorand, you can see Algorand creating a pattern as well. You can argue this is a bit of a head and shoulders pattern with this neckline here. Again, it's either going to get rejected and come back down to $1.79, or if we can get some volume and break through this, we could push higher to $2.05 price target on Algorand. So there you go, guys. Overall, a good time in the market right now. Bitcoin is moving from strength to strength. The inflation reading has really given cryptocurrency a strong foundation to grow now, heading towards the end of this year and early 2022, because we now know that inflation is persistent. It's going to be here. Used car prices are going up, lumber prices are going up, and guess what? Institutions, high net worth individuals are going to want to put their money somewhere. And that's why we're hearing a lot of billionaires coming out. Those that were previously, big naysayers of Bitcoin coming out and admitting that they have allocations in crypto, whether it's George Soros, whether it's Ray Dalio, whether it's Kevin O'Leary, whether it's everybody, every top billionaire that we know in the public realm is invested in cryptocurrency. And those that aren't telling you, they're probably doubly so invested in cryptocurrency. So let's not be fooled by it. We know Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is seen as a hedge to inflation, and we know it's insurance policy against traditional fiat currency, and that's why we're seeing us do so well now. And I think what's beautiful about this Bitcoin move now is it's done in a sustainable way. When earlier in the year we run up to $64,000, I mean, in hindsight it was easy, but at the time you get caught up in the euphoria. But in hindsight, it was clear that it was done very unsustainably, right? It was done very quickly. There was no test backs to support lines. It just parabolically ran. So even from a technical perspective and also a fundamental perspective, it was just at breakneck speed, right? You were hitting the red zone on your car, so to speak. And I think this steady move now we've seen to $58,000 hopefully gives us that floor to say, look, we built some true support at key levels. Let's look at the charts again. We built some key supports at key levels. Switch to the daily on Bitcoin. Let's correct that. There we go. So we built key levels of support at the bottom of this purple wedge, right? If I zoom all the way out, there we go. You can see that Bitcoin did not fall below this 30,000 level. So we can feel confident now, because people who are in Bitcoin for over a year, you could never have felt at this moment here when it's just running up, you can't feel confident that you've locked in 30,000 Bitcoin. I think at this point now, you can almost argue that that's a really solid price. And I'd even go as far as to say this time round in this period here, Bitcoin wasn't even allowed to fall under 40, right? So you can argue that 40 is becoming another floor as well, although not as solid as the 30 floor. And this should give us really strong confidence to run up, as opposed to the first run up we had when we literally came off the bottom and ran up to 64,000 with no breather. There was no breather here. I mean, you can argue a little bit of a retest here and here, but that is a massive move compared to what we've had now, which is a real stabilization here. Maybe if we need to have another stabilization here at 60,000, that's more sustainable, right? It's not what people want to hear, because they want this, they love this bit. They love this vertical line all the way up out of my screen at the top here. But what long-term investors who believe in Bitcoin are happy to see is us follow this trend line. Bounce back, test 50,000 if they need to, bounce back up, beat 64, bounce back, test the line. And that's the true growth, sustainable growth that we'd want to see in Bitcoin. So there you have it, guys. If you like my perspective and my blend between fundamentals and technical analysis, then please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.